Neurotransmission is the process by which neurotransmitters deliver signals onto the next neuron. First, the signal is received by the dendrite of one neuron from another neuron. The signal travels from the dendrite along the cell body to the axon hillock and then down the axon. The end of the axons may have synaptic terminals that form junctions called synapses when they transmit information to another cell. Inside the synaptic terminals are synaptic vesicles that contain neurotransmitters, chemical messengers. To release the neurotransmitters, an action potential must first be present. Once an action potential arrives, it depolarizes the presynaptic membrane of the synaptic terminal that is trying to convey the chemical message. This causes voltage-gated channels to open and calcium ions to enter the terminal. The high concentration of calcium ions cause the synaptic vesicle to fuse with the presynaptic membrane, thus releasing the neurotransmitter into the synaptic cleft. The neurotransmitter binds to receptors on the postsynaptic membrane, triggering the ion channels to open, and potassium and sodium are able to diffuse across, relaying the message to the next neuron. Before a neuron receives a signal, its membrane resting potential is negative 70 millivolts. If an action potential is fired from the presynaptic neuron that is strong enough to reach threshold, the postsynaptic neuron will fire an action potential. While the voltage rises, the depolarization occurs when Na+ voltage-gated channels open. Once action potential is fired, the Na+ voltage channels close and the potassium channels open and start repolarization. The refractory period then comes into play in hyperpolarization to inhibit the action potential so it is not continuously reaching threshold and firing. Potassium channels are closed.
One example of a neurotoxin is found in scorpion venom and is called omega-conotoxin. Omega-conotoxin is a calcium channel blocker which causes paralysis and in some cases death. Normally, in the presynaptic neuron, calcium travels through the calcium ion channels and acts as a second messenger, allowing the neurotransmitters to travel to the postsynaptic neuron. Conotoxin blocks the calcium channel, which impedes this process. Since the neurotransmitter is not transferred, signals cannot travel from synapse to synapse. And since no signals are transferred, the victim is paralyzed and potentially dies.